video, though, a like rating would, of course, be awesome. And also, hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the winner. And in today's Grand Theft Auto 5 video, I'm going to be talking to you guys about the biggest leak I think we've ever had regarding a Grand Theft Auto Online update. So we have an absolute ton of information to talk about today regarding what looks like is going to be the content coming out in this December importing and exporting Grand Theft Auto Online DLC. Now, as always, because it is a leak, you should take this with a grain of salt. Not much of this has been confirmed by Rockstar, but some of it has, which makes it very, very interesting. And Yan has even come out and stated that he has been told that the majority of the content in the leaks that we're going to be going over today is correct. So it'll be interesting to see what content from this leak does come true and what fails to make it into the final copy of the game. But just to know that Yan has said that he has been told that the majority of this is true. So before we jump into the leak, let's talk about something Yan said. He said, just FYI, the exact number of new vehicles coming in the next Grand Theft Auto Online update is 25, but he further clarifies by saying some of those 25 vehicles are custom variants, so it's not exactly 25 different vehicles. So just as I kind of imagined, I suspected this was kind of going to be an executives and other criminals style in terms of car vehicles, where some of them might be just add-ons or modifications to existing vehicles, or as Yan stated, custom variants of cars we already saw in game. But still, 25 vehicles, that is going to be an absolute ton. And it'll be very interesting to see what sort of style those vehicles are, you know, how they're going to work, what sort of customization they're going to have. But I feel like we're going to get some answers all in this video. So I apologize for this being a pretty long video. I'm going to try and keep it as short and sweet as I can, but let's not waste any more time and let's get it started. So before we get started, I do want to apologize about the language. I know it is a little bit rough. There's obviously nothing I can do to control that, but this was the first leak we saw here. Now keep in mind the date up at the top. Tuesday, October 25th. That was a long time ago. That was over 4 weeks ago, probably like closer to 5 weeks ago now. And this guy is talking about the December update. You can see he says the next DLC is an expansion of the CEO stuff. It's all about cars, running an import-export warehouse where you jack cars and missions from the street, then mod them to sell them to buyers according to their specifications. There's also going to be special vehicle missions added to the game, and these vehicles are insane. This dude who wanted some Twisted Metal stuff got his wish. So he then goes on to describe some of the special vehicles we're going to be getting. The first one he says is there's a dune buggy with a ramp on the front so it can scoop cars and bikes hundreds of feet in the air without being stopped. Now, if that sounds familiar, that's because that kind of sounds like the ramp car that Rockstar have already showed off in one of the screenshots, and they said that that's going to be one of the special vehicles. All right, so this guy is kind of 2 for 2 now. He's predicted the special vehicles, the importing and exporting stuff, and this ramp dune buggy. All right, now I'm interested. He goes on to say there's a Boxville, which you guys don't know. The Boxvilles are like those, you know, trucks that have like the big thing in the back where you could possibly store boxes or whatnot. He says we've kitted it out with a turret, armor plating, and a huge scoop in the front. Nothing stops it when it gets moving. So imagine a Boxville with armor all over it, possibly a minigun or an MG gun on the top and a scoop in the front. That's another vehicle we could be getting here. He goes on to say the Boxville can get things out of its road, but what if you don't like its shape? We're going to add a Phantom with a big wedge on the front. It's faster and it clears the entire roads with no issue. So a big rig with a giant wedge on the front, okay? That's going to be pretty exciting too. He goes on to say, anyone like the Ruiner? Well, we've made one that can jump, has a parachute. Yes, it can glide for miles, guns and rockets that can home in or not. It's essentially KITT, which is the Knight Rider car. I wouldn't be surprised if we got a lawsuit. He goes on to say, how about quads? There's going to be an amphibious Blazer with dual machine guns attached. Drive it from land to sea, all you like, seamlessly. And there's also going to be an amphibious technical as well, turret at all. Not much to say about this. It's got big barrels on each side to help it float. Okay, that is pretty insane too. So we're getting cars that can sort of fly and glide and that have parachute attachments as well. And what looks to be 2 vehicles that can go from land to sea seamlessly in the Blazer and the Technical. But that's not all. He says there's a new Voltic with a huge rocket engine on the back. Hit the horn button and you'll fly forward at top speed thanks to the rocket boost on the back. It's usable on the ground and in midair, so you can chuck yourself off Mount Chiliad and sail forever. And he follows up by saying they'll all be usable in free mode after finishing the specific missions. Okay, so assuming this guy is correct and that this information is true, that is unbelievable. Just his description of the special vehicles, the dune buggy with the ramp on the front, the armored Boxville, the Ruiner that's supposed to be like this Knight Rider car, the 2 amphibious quads, the new Rocket Voltic. That is pretty insane when you think about it. And keep in mind, he posted this information on October 25th, 2016. Let's move on to some more information he stated. He says, you guys want more car storage, so guess what? We're putting in a 60-car garage in the executive office. You can expand it into tiers of 20, and you can also buy a mod shop on top of it. So does that not perfectly describe the way Rockstar has gone about doing this, where they specifically have stated on their newswire that that is how the garages is going to work? So now what I'm going to do is actually take you guys to the page itself, and if you want to check this out for yourself, you can. I'll leave a link to it in the description. We get some more information on him, and you can see the date here is still Wednesday, the 26th of October. So he goes on to describe how the garages are going to work. It's a multi-tier circular garage. Cars are parked facing the middle of a circle with a big window to the outside world. There's stairs on the side for accessing levels with a mod shop. Does that not describe the screenshot that Rockstar has shown off already? One of the ones that they posted on their newswire. Multi-tier circular garage with the cars parked facing the circle in the middle. Okay, this is starting to look really legit now. Someone posted a question regarding tuners, and he says, in the tuner thing, we haven't really got any interest here. Lowriders will be the closest you get. So if this guy is legitimate, then that kind of answers the question right there about a tuners update, which might be sad for those of you guys that are looking for something like that going forward into the future. Someone asked him a question on the price of these upcoming vehicles, and he said all the special vehicles, ramp, buggy, phantom wedge, etc., are between $1 and $5 million. Oh my God, that is a lot of money for these vehicles. He says figures aren't concrete in my head, but I know that the Ruiner 2000, which is that Knight Rider car, the one that has the parachute and the flying ability, as well as the homing missile and non-homing missiles, is $5.7 million. Okay, that is an insane price tag. He goes on to say you can get a hefty discount for beating a special contact mission that uses the vehicle in question, $1 million or so off the price of the car. So even if it does get you $1 million off, $4.7 million to $5.7 million for this Ruiner 2000 Knight Rider car. Unbelievable. We haven't seen a vehicle get that expensive since the yachts were added into the game, and even then it was like the Swift Deluxe and the Luxor Deluxe, but nothing for a vehicle that has this sort of ability. So I wonder if it is going to be a Pegasus vehicle or something we store, but I would imagine, since he said special vehicles here, that it is going to be Pegasus and not necessarily one we store in our garage. But still, that is very, very expensive. $5.7 million, very hefty. He goes on to clarify how the new warehouses and garages are going to work in the game. He says there's new warehouses in the game specifically for car storage. They look like your average big mechanic garage. I want to say this is what this screenshot looks like right here. To me, this kind of does look like an average big mechanic garage. So once again, I wonder if this guy is correct on describing what was going to be coming out in this update. And he's referring to the orange car that can be found in the first screenshot. He says it looks like the Tempesta, a new car. He goes on to say there's 2 new Legendary Motorsports cars, and the rest are Benny's cars. Okay, that's cool. 2 Legendary Motorsports vehicles, and the rest are going to be Benny's, including a Skyline ripoff and 2 new bikes. No new lowriders, just Ricer cars. Wow, that is cool. And if we bring that back to Yan's tweet, how there's going to be 25 vehicles, that means that, man, if there's only 2 legendaries, 2 bikes, how many Benny's cars are we going to be getting here? Now, I would imagine that a lot of the vehicles in this update are going to be the special ones like the ramp, buggy, phantom wedge, etc. that he described. But I still believe that that could be a handful of Benny's cars, 5, 6, maybe 7, including a Skyline ripoff. I mean, if you're a fan of Fast and Furious here, you should be getting pumped, because that should get you so excited to what's going to be coming out, potentially in online. So the next thing he talks about is regarding the price of the Ruiner 2000 and why it's so expensive. He says it has homing rockets, non-homing rockets, machine guns, jumping ability, a parachute you can glide using, even add performance mod to make it go super fast. And a lot of people are asking why it might be that expensive, because it might be the new Hydra destroyer. He says it's a little bit much cash, but it'll be the new jet destroyer weapon of choice. So that's why we put a high price. So that might explain why the Ruiner 2000 is $5.7 million if it can combat lasers and Hydra hydras and whatnot, so that would be pretty interesting. He goes on to say we won't be getting any new weapons in this update, but that doesn't surprise me because the update is all about importing and exporting vehicles. He goes on to say there will be loads of new clothing, including new masks. One of them is going to be a Harambe mask, which I'm assuming is just going to be a gorilla, even though I think we already have one of those in the game, a horse mask, pug mask. You've got sugar skulls, whatever that's going to be. New organization styles, things in the shops too. Pretty exciting. So it looks like Rockstar's going to be doing some big updates as far as clothing and accessories. In describing what the missions are going to be like, he says the special vehicle missions are like miniature heists. So even though Rockstar have come out and said, you know, we're not doing any more heist, at least these missions are going to be, I guess, more on the level of heist in terms of complexity and depth and things we're going to do. He describes one of the vehicles we're going to be getting, the R34 Skyline, and we better like it. Okay, that's exciting. I love that. Like I said, if you're a fan of Fast and Furious and you love this vehicle, I know the R34 has been one of the most requested cars in the game, so that's going to be great for us and anyone who is looking forward to a vehicle like that. Definitely one of the biggest things of this leak, according to this user, is that there will be a character appearance changer $100,000 ago. So it finally looks like we're getting some sort of plastic surgery and online for the small price of $100,000 per character change attempt. I would imagine it would be very similar to taking your character back to like the very start of online where you kind of like mold and shape their face. So that would be pretty cool. I love the fact that this is finally being added into the game, as I know it's been highly requested. I'm sure I might do some changes to my character as well for the small price of $100,000. Regarding some of the more masks and clothing, he says there's going to be more meme style clothing. You can see dinosaur masks and whatnot. He says we're just going to have to wait to find out. His record is clean, so we will see if this guy is telling the truth here, which once again will be very, very interesting. He goes on to say, describing the rocket Voltic, that it's a Voltic with a big rocket booster on the back. The exhaust looks like an Iron Man core, but orange, and costs a couple of $1 million as well. Wow, so another vehicle that it's going to cost multiple millions of dollars. It's probably one of the most fun vehicles to use out of the new lot. You'll just have to wait until the 13th of December. Okay, so he is describing right here that the release date is going to be the 13th of December, which a lot of people believe will be that update release as well, and even up here, 13th of December as well. So someone described a question about warehouse defenses, you know, protecting yourself against other players and griefers, and this was his response. It was really interesting. He says, we've come up with a better system. You get no reward this time for destroying cars that CEOs are stealing. Instead, you can steal their cars from their mission and store them in your own warehouse, counting as stock towards sales. Or if you're a non-organization or an MC, you can take the car to the local chop shop or scrapyard respectively and receive a payout. So it seems as if Rockstar are trying to put less of an emphasis on destroying something with a jet and more of which trying to kill you, take the car, and steal it for themselves. I like that so much better. Now, there's probably going to be people that will go out of their way to kill you no matter what and don't care about receiving the goods or the car and bringing it back for themselves, but I definitely think that is a better system. He goes on to describe the warehouse system as well by saying warehouses can store 40 cars. Each steal mission is one car at a time, and each car has its own value. Sell missions are dependent on how many associates you have, one car per person in the organization. A private buyer mission is straight up selling them for the commission gained on them. Car showroom is a slight upfront payment to mod them up a bit to receive an increased payout on delivery. Specialist offer is a bigger upfront payout to mod the cars to receive the largest payout. So to me, this kind of sounds like they're doing the biker route where you can deliver it far away or close depending on the sort of payout you want. And in this instance, it has to do with the sort of customization you get for the delivery. So he says numbers are hard to quantify, but it depends on the cars you're selling and to what buyer, and also how damaged the cars are upon delivery, as repairs costs are billed to you. And on that note, he says this system is just an entire extension of the finance and felony office system. We're going to use the same office, same old PC. There's going to be a new tab for launching vehicle cargo missions, and it's going to work like this. You go to SecuroServe PC in your office, vehicle cargo tab, hit source car, get mission, go find car in the world, bring it back to warehouse. Car is now stored in warehouse like special cargo, and then you can do more steal missions to get more cars, use the laptop, etc., choosing whatever cars you want, selling whatever cars you want. So it's going to be super cool. He goes on to say you can get collections of cars. If you're lucky and collect a set of cars, you can sell that that collection for far more than the normal sell mission, but you need a specific amount of associates for collections, like there's 4 cars in a rally collection, etc. So to me, this kind of sounds like the rare special items that the CEOs could get, like the eggs and whatnot, and the pocket watches and the film reel. That's kind of what it sounds like to me. And then finally, last but not least, he describes how the DLC is going to be released. He says, yes, there are a few things held back for later dates, but it's only 2 cars. Everything else is being blown out on the one day, Christmas after all. So it sounds like most of the content we're going to be receiving from this update is made for day 1, whenever this DLC releases, and the other is going to be 2 cars that Rockstar is saving for Christmas. So that is pretty cool. Once again, that is the entire leak right there. He has not posted any more information since Friday, December 2nd. I will leave a link to this in the description if you want to check it out for yourself. I tried to cover all the important information here. Once again, I do apologize for kind of the crass language. That's something I can't really control. I think this is on the site 4chan. I don't have a whole lot of experience with that, but once again, you can check this out for yourself. I think all of this is insane. Believe it if you want, but this guy's track record is pretty impressive considering he not only predicted a lot of the content that has come within Bikers, but the fact that he was predicting everything before Rockstar had even announced a single bit of information on this update. So I'd love to hear from you guys in the comment section down below. Do you think this guy is legit? Do you think he's real? What do you think of the prices of everything, the content we're going to be getting? I'd love to hear from you guys, like I said, in the comments. I apologize for this video being so long, but I didn't want to make multiple videos on this. I wanted to wait till really all the information he was going to put out was solid, and then I was going to make this video, which I did today. So I apologize for it being so long. Hopefully you guys learned a thing or two. Like I said, the biggest leak we'll probably ever get in Grand Theft Auto Online DLC history. So, like I said, I'd love to hear from you guys in the comment section down below. If you did go on to enjoy this video, though, a like rating would, of course, be awesome. And also, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new or you like daily GTA 5 videos like this. With all the way, guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
Alright guys, so that was such a pretty awesome video. If y'all do go and like this video, be sure to drop that like button. We'll try to reach 25 likes, and we will get a lot more subscribers too, hopefully. So yeah, let's just go and end this. I should have one more video out. It should be actually pretty cool and funny, because it's going to be trying not to laugh challenge. So like I said guys, just be sure to be subscribed to our YouTube channel, and it's your Pro Gamer. Peace out.